Hi, everybody. Jeff Marr with STEM School Highlands Ranch, and joining me is Kelly Reyna, Vice Chair and Vice President of the STEM Board of Directors. Kelly, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
So, Vice Chair and Vice President of the board, that's the reason that we're talking to you today, is because that's a new position for you that was just recently announced. If you can talk about the transition to that position and what you were doing before.
So being a new parent board member has been a learning objective for myself. In the short few months that I've been on the board, it's kind of been like drinking from a fire hose. We're just kind of learning a lot of information, how the school runs, and what our purpose as a board is. And now with the transition to vice chair, it's just going to be even more information dump that I'm actually looking really forward to because our school's pretty amazing and there's a lot that goes into it that makes it this amazing.
And Kelly, for those who are not familiar with your background, if you can talk about your connection to STEM School Highlands Ranch.
Sure. So we have been at STEM since 2016. My son started in the second grade, so we've been in the elementary side for most of our time at STEM. I do have, he is now in seventh grade, so we're entering the middle school secondary level here, and then my daughter is in the fourth grade. So she has been here since first grade. We had a small little jaunt. We moved out of town to North Carolina for about 18 months. But when we came back, we knew immediately we were coming back to STEM. So this is where we've been since 2018.
And you're in a unique position in that sense. You are not just a board member, but now vice chair, vice president of the board, and you have students at STEM with that direct connection. How does that feel? Do you feel like that gives you kind of an advantage to knowing a bit more about what's going on inside the school from your students' perspective?
I do, especially being on the elementary side. So many elementary parents know that's the biggest involvement as a parent, right? You volunteer in classrooms, you're a little bit more hands-on with your student. And when they get into the secondary, I think you step back a little bit. So I've had a huge involvement in the school being at the elementary level. And I think that offers a real good opportunity for a different point of view, different advisement, because the board is an advisory committee as well. Just having those connections with the parents, which is one of my objectives. I know a lot of parents, but I hope to get to know even more just on a personal level, because I think when you build those bonds and that trust, then some of the decisions that are made behind the scenes can be honored and trusted even more.
Now, you said that up to this point, it's been like drinking from a fire hose.
Yes.
You've only been in this position with the board for a few months, and now you've become vice president, vice chair. So is that jump a bit intimidating, or are you excited to bring on that position? What are your feelings?
Both, right? So it is intimidating, but only because it is such a high honor. I mean, it truly is an honor to be on the board, and then to be vice president or vice chair is an extreme honor. But I am super excited because I'm of the knowledge base that you're always a student, right? You're always learning. There's always something to learn from. And this is an area that I know a little bit about, and I'm excited to learn even more.
Now let's talk about some of the initiatives that you would like to focus on in your new position with the board moving forward in the 2021-2022 school year. Have you outlined some items that you would like to tackle?
Well, Roy and I have already met early on this week just to kind of go over some basics, and our area of focus right now is to get that bond, secure that bond for the gym and cafeteria expansion, which is a huge project and a great adventure for our school. And then reviewing and updating all of our policies. I don't know if anyone's ever really dug deep into a lot of our policies, but they're due for some renewing, some revising. STEM's always innovating, so we need to make sure that our policies are in place are also following our innovation. And then the review of our executive director, that too is something that the board has to focus on this year.
Now, this is a question that I asked Roy as well. The past 18, 19 months has been difficult for anybody in education. It's really unprecedented times to try to be an educator, try to run a school in this current environment. In your opinion, how do you think STEM Schoolhouse Ranch has fared over the past 18, 19 months compared to other schools and perhaps other charters?
I haven't really dug deep into any other schools, but from my own personal perspective, I think STEM has done extremely well considering the circumstances. I know that when we first went to e-learning at the start of COVID, that was a really hard go for families, teachers, staff, just the whole community in general. But that summer, there was a lot of growth. And I feel going into that fall, there was a significant change, a significant improvement in how we handled the e-learning, and then just always trying to do what's best for our students has always been on the top priority list of everyone: administration, teachers, parents. I mean, they're really our focus as the students. So what's best for them is what's going to make them successful.
Absolutely. Well, it seems like STEM was already well positioned to handle the virtual aspect of it. And that was a big factor in kind of the learning curve for a lot of other schools, whereas our school, we were already well positioned to do that and had already been doing that. Is there anything else that you would like to add about your new position? Any messages that you would like to give parents or students before we wrap up?
There's just one thing personally that I want to work on with our community. I've been digging a little deep on with the students and the STEM formula for character. I don't know if everyone's aware of it, but there are five characteristics that our students are often they are encouraged to exhibit, and then they're rewarded. They're often rewarded for showing and expressing these character traits. Honesty, integrity, respect, responsibility, and empathy. So these are all things that are expected from our students. So I thought it would be a great initiative to incorporate that with our entire community, to really extend that out. We're asking our students to follow these character traits, and there's only 8 hours in the school day, right? Or 7 or 8 hours in the school day. So they got to go home, and if we can just enforce it and nurture those same characters traits, I know that's something that I'm going to work on, and with our community too, just having a little bit more patience with everybody through all of this, because the year is just starting, and we've already had some little bumps, and COVID's not going away, so we just want to make sure that we're all in the same mindset.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would argue against that. All of those character traits are super important for any student that will help carry them through the next step to college and into their career lives. So nurturing that at home would definitely be a great thing. Kelly, thank you so much for talking to us, and I'm sure we'll be checking in with you shortly as the board explores more of its agenda heading into the new school year.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Jeff. It's always great talking with you.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.